Hello, Iclone user friends. Hope you're all keeping well in the current COVID-19 situation. My name is Matt. I'm also a user of the group, as you've probably already guessed. Over the last couple of days, I've seen a few posts chatting about the Live Face app and about whether it's any good, is it worth investing in, how do you edit the things when you've put them in and things like that. So I thought I'd put a little video together for you so that you can hopefully have a little bit more of an in-depth look as to how it works and hopefully iron out any of the issues that you've got, because all the videos I've seen online are great. It just shows you the final product and how they use it, you know, on all of the demonstrations and things like that, but it doesn't really show you some of the issues and problems that you can come across. The first issue I had with it when I first got it was I plugged it in and I could not get it to connect to the computer, which was a nightmare. So I finally found a piece of information to do that, but hopefully it makes it a little bit easier. So I just thought I'd put this together for you, and if it's any good and hopefully it'll answer some of those questions, happy days. So first thing I'm going to do then, if we're looking at Live Face, is I'm going to get my iPhone, which is my one is the iPhone X. It's worth noting that you can only do Live Face and use the Live Face app on the iPhone that will use your face mapping information. And what I mean by that, if you've got an iPhone that you can just look at and it will unlock, happy days. So if you've got an iPhone, I think it's 7 or below, it won't work. So don't invest in the app to use, because all you're going to do then is having to spend even more money to purchase an iPhone that it's going to work with. So you can only use it on the iPhone which has got the two little hidden cameras just up there for your face mapping, which is pretty cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just get rid of my text messages that come through. I'm going to connect it to my computer. So it's worth noting I'm going to connect mine through the USB cable. You can, I believe, connect through Wi-Fi if you've got a Wi-Fi enabled machine. Mine isn't. Mine's hardwired only, which, to be honest, it's much secure, and it's better because there's no possible chance of the Wi-Fi dropping out and things like that. So lightning connector into the bottom, and what I will do is I will record the screen as well, but we found this out from trying to do it previously, is that we have to connect to the computer first before we can screen record on the phone. If we screen record before we try and connect, it physically won't connect to the software. So I'm just going to pop in my little code there to say that I trust the computer and it's active. Now, as soon as I've plugged mine in, because I've used it before, you might just be able to see in the corner there, it's a bit blurred, just there, it's gone blue and it's got the time. So 13:52, which is the time of day that we're recording, and it's gone blue up there. If it hasn't gone blue, then you need to do a little bit of work to connect it to the computer, and I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing we're going to do, because it has gone blue, I can now screen record. So I shall set mine to screen record there. And there we go. I've got my little red dot, so I know that that is screen recording. So at least everything I do on here, you can see now it's gone red because I'm screen recording. So yours, if you're not screen recording, will go blue when it's connected properly. So the first thing I'm going to do, so that you can see on the phone, is I'm going to come into my settings, and you will see just here we've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, mobile data, and personal hotspot. So the Wi-Fi is currently still connected to Wi-Fi in the house. We've got Bluetooth, which is on, doesn't make any difference. Mobile data, mine is on. I've had a couple of people sometimes that have had issues that even though their mobile data is switched off, it won't connect. So it's worth having it on. Your Wi-Fi should be overriding that anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. But the important one is this one here, which is your personal hotspot. So I'm just going to flick that, and you can see allow others to join. We just need to bring that across from there back to there again, and you'll see that it's there. With a bit of luck, that hasn't tripped out the computer. We shall find out, but the personal hotspot does need to be on. So I'm now going to come across to our Face Live app, which is here, and there I am. Hello, you can see me there. Okay, so now I'm on here. Hopefully you can still see me. It's worth noting that just above my head, right at the very top, it's got here, please connect to your client's, please connect your client software, which in our case is going to be Iclone. And here it's giving us a string of numbers, which is going to be our IP address. So that's the address that the computer is going to talk to the phone through. So we need to make sure that that works. But before we go that far, I'll just show you a little bit about the Live Face app itself. So as you can see, we've got various numbers just at the bottom here, which is it's calculating what my face is doing. So straight away, it's using the two little cameras at the top of the iPhone, and it's got my jaw open, head down, which you can see, head left, and all these things, head right, so all these movements, brow up left, I can't do one or the other, excuse me, and so pucker lips, and all this, so there's lots of different movement going on there. You can't actually adjust any of those numbers in the app, but if I use my finger and just press on the screen, then we get to the wireframe. So hello, this is all of the data and all of the information that's going to be sent down the cable to Iclone. So on there you can see which parts of my face is working, things that are moving, which is all good. Now even though you can't see my pupils, any data from my pupils, it's actually calculating that as well, which is quite cool. So that if I move my eyes left and right, the character that your Live Face app is connected to in Iclone will also move. Excuse me. Worth noting there as well, if I move too far to the left or right, my face will disappear and the wireframe will go. So trying to keep it in the same position all the time is quite good. So that is how you can connect at least this part. So what I'm going to do now is we'll flick across to Iclone and see what it looks like and make sure it's connected in there. Okay, so I've got Iclone already booted up here, and whilst we've been getting ready, I've popped Mason as one of our characters here. So the first thing I'm going to do is connect the iPhone to him. So as a character, if I come into my scene, he's selected there, and you can just see the box around him here. So if I come to my animation tab, I'll click on there and scroll all the way down to Motion Live. So I've got the Motion Live app here as well. So I'm going to click on there, and then this opens up. So the first thing we want to do is connect the phone and all the information that's coming through there. Is it still there? Yes, it is. Ah, you can see it on there. Hello. So we want to make sure that this is talking correctly to Iclone. So we'll have a quick look on how to do that. So all we want to do for this particular experiment is we want to capture the facial animation. So if I use the drop down here, you'll see nothing happens. So the first thing I want to do is connect some gear, which is in this case going to be our iPhone and the Live Face app. So I'm just going to select the plus button there for add gear, and you can see that the Live Face appears there. So I'm just going to select that, and then we get this appear. Now, earlier when we spoke about the numbers at the top of my head, the IP address numbers, if I cut to this camera, you can see just there, happy days. What they need to do is those numbers there need to match these numbers here. Now at the minute they don't. The phone is saying 192 and straight away this says 172. So we need to adjust that first. Now it's worth noting, I should say, that the first time I tried to do this, the numbers were exactly the same, but it still wouldn't connect. And one of the reasons for that were this string of numbers on the end. So we may need to keep this semicolon and the 999 I've found. So if you've got problems connecting, that is definitely worth keeping in. So I'm just going to make sure that the numbers on the phone match. So it's 192.168.0.13. And then with a bit of luck, if I hit the little button here that says connect, we want that to go green. Yes, it does. And the top of the app says client app connection successful. Happy days. Brilliant. That now means that we are ready to capture the data on here and send it to our character Mason on there. Fantastic. Let's have a look. So we've come back to Iclone. So it's worth noting then here that we need to first connect the app to Mason. Now you would think that clicking this little square here would do it, because we want to capture face for Mason. I'm clicking away and nothing happens. Very frustrating. I actually spent about 20 minutes, half an hour trying to work out why that wouldn't connect. So let me show you how that's done. It's nice and simple really, when you know how. Okay, so believe it or not, the hazard symbol next to the square, if you click on there, that will allow us to select what gear we want to use in order to capture the data. So So I'm literally going to click live face and you'll see a picture of my iPhone has appeared and a tick has appeared in the box. Fantastic, happy days. And we can preview it just to make sure it's working. So I'm going to hold my iPhone here so that all of my face is in there. We'll come back to Iclone so you can see. I'm going to hit preview and hit the space bar, and now everything that I'm doing with my face is slowly catching up. There we go. Hello. Fantastic. So there's a little bit of head movement on there. My eyes are going left and right. My blink, my jaw. Now, as you can see, there's a huge amount of disparity there between what my mouth is actually doing and what the character can physically do. So actually, it's quite good to have it in preview mode, because I'll show you the settings that you can use to make sure that you capture your face accurately for the character. So, coming back to Iclone, it's catching up with me again. Here, in this section here, you've got the mask. Now, at the minute, everything is selected, which means that it's calculating the data for all of my face, for all of these areas. So if I hit the bin, it's now capturing nothing. So if I just want to capture, for instance, my jaw, if I hit my chin and the mouth, maybe, just in case, all it's going to capture is this. Now you can see that my jaw would not move that much or that high. So if I come into the strength tab, which is just on the right hand side here, for the jaw, I'll just bring it down so you can see all of them. For the jaw, I can actually bring down the sensitivity. And as I start to bring it down, you can see that this is a much more natural movement, which doesn't seem anywhere near as harsh. Same for the mouth. I can bring that down a little bit so my lips are moving, so you can actually gain the correct amount of move, which is quite good. So if I come back to the mask again now, and we'll add in the cheeks and the nose, you can see there's not much movement that it adds there actually, but it's there if you need it. It's obviously dropped out for a few seconds there. I think it's because I've got a few messages just coming through, but don't worry about that. So if I select all, that will now bring everything back in. And it's trying to, oh, hello, it's gone a bit mad. There we go. Right, okay. But at least from there now you can see this is a much more natural amount of movement in my face. My blinking appears correct now. My eyebrows aren't too bad, probably a little bit too much movement, but for what we want to do, absolutely fine. So you can kind of pre-edit things on here by selecting which areas of the face you actually want it to capture. So if you just want the mouth or you just want the eyes because you've already done the mouth somewhere else, you can do that. And the strength of each individual bit, so you can get it a much more natural flow. So hopefully that helps up to that point, so you can actually see, number one, how to connect your phone to Iclone and the issues that you might have there. On that note, it's worth noting that if the IP address, if you come out of the app and then back in again, it will sometimes give you a different IP address, so it won't always connect. So you just need to make sure that those numbers do connect properly with the app. And so hopefully it showed you how to do that, and it showed you that on your basic capture, before you actually record anything, how you can adjust the strength by using the strength and mask settings here. Okay, so now it's all set up then, we are going to give it a try. So here we go, record, and I'm going to hit spacebar. Here we go. Hi everyone in the Iclone user group. Hope you're keeping well. Speak to you soon, Matt. Okay, nice and simple. So for now, I'm not going to need my phone. I can put this to one side. It's worth knowing, if you haven't got one, to probably have a look at one of these as well, which is quite cool. You can just hang around your neck. You can pop your phone there so that you've got your hands free to do other things. Only a few quid off eBay, but makes things like this a little bit easier. Okay, so let's go back in now and have a look and see what our captured data looks like. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. So there's a few little things. These end points I look rather miserable on, but that's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the face key, which is just here. And as this pops up, you will see, very similar to the mask section, you've got this little bit here. So it's worth noting that you can literally play things through and adjust anything. So this is all okay up until about, in my opinion, here, where my eyebrows are very, very low and there's something a bit strange going on. So I could literally just select my eyebrows where they start to dip, and I'm going to create what's called a keyframe. So that's a nice place to start. So if I just do that, adds a little movement in there, and then from here where it starts to drop, that's fairly natural, but then from here it's not. So I'm going to add one in there, and as my eyes lift for the second time, let's have a look, I can bring my eyebrows back up to a more natural finish, and at the end there maybe. So when we watch it through, not too bad, not too bad at all. Let's just finish off with some better eyebrows as well, and we might just open the eyes a slight touch as well. Now my eyes looked away because I was ready to click stop, and I can bring those back in as well, look, to look directly down the camera lens, which works quite well. So you can see from that you can edit the individual muscles within the face and really start to smooth and work on that, which is really quite cool. So that's pretty cool. So we'll watch that back, and yeah, not too bad, a little bit more natural. There we go. Okay, now to make that look even better, at the minute everything from the shoulders and the neck isn't moving. So even if I just add an idle move to the rest of the animation, that's not going to take anything away from the face, which is pretty cool. But if you're using stuff like the mixed motions and things like that, you can obviously just add animation to the legs and things like that. But what I am going to do very quickly, just to show you, is with our character selected, we'll just come into the content, and oops, animation is the one that we want, and I'm literally just going to type idle, see what comes up. If anyone else has got the same experience as this, I always find that the search function on Iclone is quite slow, which is a bit of a pain considering they're all in one folder, you would have thought. But for now we'll just find an idle motion where, let's just find just a standing around one. There we go, idle motion. So we'll click on there, and what I've done is put it at the end, so I shall put it at the start of the clip, and there he is. Well, there we go. Hopefully that's given you a little bit more of an insight into Live Face, how to use it a little bit better maybe than what you've been using it up to yet, or if you haven't got it, whether you want to invest in it or not. If you've got any specific questions or individual help that you think you might need, if I can help, I will certainly try to do so. Just pop a comment in the video at the bottom, and Facebook will notify me when that's there, and I'll try and respond with any information that I can. If I can help, I will certainly try to. Other than that, wherever you are in the world, stay safe through lockdown and the old COVID-19 crisis, and happy animating. See you soon.